My name is Bomi. I'm a mother of 2 kids. I had Bam Bam October of 2016. But the interesting thing was how I felt towards him the day I gave birth to him. I was actually irritated. Fortunately for me, my mother was around to help me with the baby, so I ended up dumping him with her a lot of times. But I remember there was a time I actually pretty much felt like throwing him off. My name is Bomi. I'm a mother of 2 kids. Firstborn, Bam Bam, he's 2 years old, a few months. And then Pebbles is a year and a few months. I had them within a year of each other. I had Bam Bam October of 2016. And the pregnancy wasn't so, compared to other people, the pregnancy wasn't so horrible. Compared with myself, who had never been pregnant before. Yes, it was all that and more. But the interesting thing was how I felt towards him the day I gave birth to him. I was actually irritated. I had the baby, they put him on my body first. Immediately they cleaned him up and it just felt weird. It was like, so this is the human being that has put me through this 36 hours of hell. And I told the nurses to take him off. They're like, no, there has to be mother-son bonding, something about flora and blah, blah, blah. And, I left him there, but honestly, I just wanted to rest. And that was the beginning of postpartum depression for me. Myself and my husband had read a lot about pregnancy and postpartum symptoms, depression and all that. But when it started, I didn't know that was what it was. Fortunately for me, my mother was around to help me with the baby, so I ended up dumping him with her a lot of times. But I remember there was a time I actually pretty much felt like throwing him off. I think being a Yoruba girl is what helped me, because it was more so you go and abandon him, or you let go of him, and then what will you tell them? That was always what it was. And then there were many sleepless nights. I couldn't sleep during the day, I couldn't sleep at night. A lot of people will explain it as being fresh to motherhood and the baby, but it was much more than that. Eventually I came to realize there was anxiety, there was loss of appetite. I was crying most of the time for no reason. I was just unhappy. My husband couldn't be there at the time, but I think within 2 days he had spotted what was wrong. And so he will send people over to me at every point he can, bearing gifts. People will come spend hours just chatting with me. My mother too was there, who will be asking me awkward questions. And sometimes, I didn't realize it was all in a bid to get me out of it, because I didn't even realize I was depressed. I just knew I was unhappy. It took a while. And unfortunately for me, I didn't even know what my triggers were. So I would spend a lot of time on social media. I spend a lot of time reading. I enjoy reading, just to get my mind off what was happening. Eventually, I think after 2-3 months, it passed. I had a great support system, so it passed. And then by the time I took in for my second child immediately, and the moment I gave birth to her, it started again. In her own case, she had to be in NICU for a while, so I didn't have to interact with her much. Probably just the first 2 hours, and she was sleeping most of the time. But it started, and somehow it just occurred to me that one of the major triggers at that point was social media. I had friends, I had different kinds of friends on Facebook in particular, and people, I'm one person who soaks things up. So when you project things, it gets to me. I'm not able to just move on. So you're on Facebook and you're reading stories that people send to people's inboxes. So they claim, stories about life and its happenings. And the more you read the sad stories, the sadder you become. You're reading, like, you hear stories of people who have rough patches in their marriage and everybody's shouting, oh, leave the guy, leave, and everybody, then someone else says, oh no, stay and try to work it out, and everybody passes on that person. Those kind of stories, I saw a lot of them, and you're wondering, why is everybody angry? But then you now realize much more than that, you are getting angry. And then it is the people around you that you are punishing with your anger. And so that was what it was for me eventually. And that was the point I left Facebook and most of my social media handles, because I realized I was soaking it up. And at the point I was in my life, which was pretty much being a new mom, I couldn't afford to soak that up because it was affecting me. Interestingly, I left social media, I got counseling, and within weeks I was fine. I never linked it, but it was at the second pregnancy, the way I recovered, I realized, okay, that for me was a trigger. So for postpartum depression, I think the main cause is hormonal. It has to do with your hormone levels after you have given birth, from what I have studied. So, anything, you know how hormones work. Anything can trigger you once your hormones are everywhere. Someone crying can make you cry. Someone happy can make you cry. Someone dirt can make you cry. As trivial as that, just saying dirt where it's not supposed to be can make you cry. There's really, I can't say there are patterns. I can only say look out for what triggers you and stay away from it. But I mean, one thing that really, really, really helps is having people you can talk to. And I'll say don't spiritualize it. It's what it is. Nobody wishes for it. It's what it is. When it comes, we just find what triggers it. Get away from it. Find people you love. Let them be around. That worked for me. I'll say one thing as a philosophy in life. When we're about to face the unexpected or unfamiliar, let's read. There's no end to the reading. Again, we may not be able to cover everything, but when we read, we'll stumble on things that become useful. We can't wish it away. Nobody plans for it. If you're a girl, if you're a woman, if you plan to get pregnant, then begin to read on postpartum depression. Read people's stories, read the clinical side of it. Just find as much information as you can. But don't read alone. Get your partners involved. Your husbands should read with you. Your mothers should know what you're going through. Get your husband to get his mother to read about it. When people appreciate it, when people know what it is, then they get to understand what you're going through. They may not fully understand, but they have an idea of how to support you. What we find these days is when people say they're depressed or they're going through postpartum depression, people can't talk about it, first of all. But even when they're able to talk about it, people will say, I reject that for you. God forbid. No, it won't go away. It's us building active support groups. When you hear someone has given birth, leave your comfort zone. Go spend time with the person. Find out how the person is doing. Sometimes what even leads to depression is the way people around these new moms behave. So in some cultures or some families, because some women are strong and are able to pound yam the next day, it is expected that every woman should be able to pound yam the next day. After all, pregnancy and delivery is not a disease. But people's body adjust at different paces. You may recover in 2 days. Another person may take 2 months to recover. I'm even talking about physically, you know. So reach out to people and be there for them. Let it be you are their sounding board, even if you can't do anything. Let them be able to nag and complain, and you can just bet. You may not have the right words to say, and it's fine to keep quiet. Just show up. Just show up. If I roll out to you, I hope my son won't see this when he's 10. On my worst day, I probably wouldn't have had up to 2 hours of sleep in 48 hours. I would not have been able to eat anything. Perhaps drink curry, which my mother would have shouted on me for, which would have compounded my problems. And then I was exclusively breastfeeding him, so I will breastfeed and then I'll feel faint. But I still will not eat. And to get myself busy, I'll go and start trying to do house chores. You know. But then my husband will call me every 30 minutes. And then we will talk and laugh. And then I can rant and complain about everybody who is not doing anything for me. When in reality, everybody is trying their best, but they're just not doing it the way you want it, you know. And then he'll counsel me and sometimes take sides with me. Don't mind them, just to make me feel good. And then we take our minds off it. I think my worst day was not so bad because I had very strong support in my husband. He will not let an hour go by without a call. So you are able to distress because of that. It gets as bad as wanting to commit suicide sometimes. At other times, for other people that I've listened to, and for me at some point, is a child you want to kill. You don't want to be saddled with this. The person makes you unhappy. But sometimes it feels like a thing as against a human being, you know. And so, yes, in some postpartum depression cases, you actually hear the mothers kill the children. It really can take any dimension for anybody. But yes, it gets as bad as suicidal thoughts. Okay, so for people going through it, first thing you need to know, you're not the first person, you won't be the last. It's a struggle a lot of women face, even though we do not talk about it. You will get through it. This too will pass. Like we like to say in Nigeria, act or no dey die. It will pass. Get support. Talk about it. First, spend time reading about it by the time you are pregnant, before you deliver. And then when it happens, get support. Talk about it. Find people you love. For those traveling abroad, thank God for technology. You can Skype, you can do WhatsApp stories, you can do WhatsApp calls, you can do Facebook Live. For some people, for me, social media triggered me. For some people, social media helps lift their spirit, you know. But find what works for you, whatever distracts you. You will have to be your own greatest cheerleader. People can help you, but you have to talk yourself through it. You see, that same baby that is stressing you at that point will one day be a source of pride and joy to you. It's just a matter of time. The baby has done you no wrong. There is nothing wrong with you. It's your body will heal. Get medical counsel, get a therapist, get a counselor, but talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor if you need to. Don't treat it lightly. And the good thing about talking to doctors is, your gynecologist, is they have dealt with other women who have gone through the same thing, so they know what they're saying. They understand what you're going through. They can help you through it. But like every other thing, like every other day, the sun will come out, the moon will rise. That will be the end of the day. First, read up on it and understand. Understand the clinical side, understand the psychological part. There are a lot of resources on the internet that deal with postpartum depression. And then be there for the people. Don't go there telling them to be strong. If they wanted to be strong, if they could be strong, they will. They won't be where they are. Go there offering to help, whatever you can do. Bath the baby, make food, sing and dance. Whatever it is you can do. Just listen while the person talks. Take a meal, a drink. Just be there. Visit. Which is one good part of our culture. People come visit. You want to rest, but people keep trooping in to visit you after you've given birth. Take time to rest. Let people that have given birth rest. Don't bombard them. You may want to visit them when they need to rest. Let them rest. Give them space when they want the space. But when they do not need the space, then be there for them. It's hard to juggle, But for the people that you're close to, you can read moods, you can tell. But much more than anything else, get educated on it so that you know how.